Principles of plain writing. The first 4 principles. We will cover most of these principles at greater length later on in the course. The first principle is write short sentences. Make sure no sentence has more than 30 words. Shorter the better. If a sentence has more than 30 words, find a meaningful way to split it into 2 or more sentences. For example, this sentence has 54 words, just too many. Having invested through many university studies in the idea that thorough preparation on the part of the student creates the most ideal in-class training results, the Ministry of Education, etc., etc. Splitting it into multiple sentences creates a much more readable result. For example, the university studies have shown that when students prepare thoroughly at home, they've obtained much better results in class, only 19 words. The Ministry of Education took these studies seriously, 8 words. It issued a directive for all secondary school teachers in the country to encourage their students to prepare better at home before showing up for class, 25 words. The second principle is write with articles like a, an, the, etc. Do not omit them for the sake of writing short. For example, instead of open first valve after taking last reading of pressure gauge, try open the first valve after taking a last reading of the pressure gauge. It reads much better. Use lists and tables to present text visually. Instead of the new method benefits marketers, salespersons, order takers, finance department, shipping department, and even the dispatchers and truck drivers, try this, an unordered bulleted list. The new method benefits, and then one bullet after another makes much easier reading. Write in active voice. As long as it's important for the reader to know the identity of the agent of action. If not, feel free to use the passive voice. For example, the Vice President of the United States delivered the annual State of the Union address is a good use of active voice. Even though State of Union addresses are, of course, always delivered by the President. It's much better than its passive voice counterpart. The annual State of the Union address was delivered, since in this case, it is significant to know who delivered the address. Vice Presidents never deliver the State of the Union addresses, as I mentioned. Thus, we'd definitely like to know if a Vice President made the speech. We do not want to miss that very important piece of information in the name of forming a shorter passive voice sentence. Plain writing is not an excuse to lose a vital piece of information that really counts. However, the driver named John Doe delivered the accident victims to the emergency unit right away. Is not necessarily a better sentence than its passive voice counterpart. The accident victims were delivered to the emergency unit right away, since we really do not care about the identity of the driver as far as our story is concerned. End of this lesson. Please move on to the next lesson.